the last time I saw you, I mean, a long time ago, but I feel like you've lost weight. I feel like you haven't gotten like super duper like bigger than when you were.
Yeah, I mean, like,
remember I saw you in high school, and then I saw you in the clubs.
When I was in high school, bro, like, I was lifting weights every day.
Yeah,
I felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had a belly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since I was a kid, I've always had a belly.
Doesn't mean you're not strong.
Right. But once I got out of high school, I stopped lifting weights, and that's where, like, you know, I found the greatness of fast food and how quick it was to just drive up and get a burger and go.
Yeah.
You know, and then plus the late nights DJing, drinking a lot of alcohol. Plus, you know, after a gig, you get hungry, so you're gonna go to Jack in the Box or something like that. So I mean, I was putting on the pounds. Like, I'm still up there. I'm 270 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But a week ago, it was 280.
Oh shit!
And I stepped on the scale and I saw that shit, and I was like, no, okay, this is too much. Because when I was in high school, like, when I graduated high school, I was 180.
Mm-hmm.
So a little over 10 years later, I'm 280. So put on 100 pounds since high school. That's in 10 years.
But I think it's like normal man weight type of thing. Like, you know,
It's just a little too much. You
Yeah.
know, I always know I'm going to be a bigger guy, and I am completely okay with that. Like,
Mhm.
I'm confident in myself. I'm happy with my life,
Mhm.
everything. But once I stepped on that scale and I saw 280, I was like, because I told myself I will never let myself get to 300 pounds. I will never be that dude. Because I'm 5'7".
Mm-hmm. You're like Action Bronson.
Right? I was like, I'm not letting myself get to 300
dude, you gotta
pounds.
be like him, bro. You gotta like go get like on a regimen and shit. That fool like is lost a lot of weight. He's 250. He was like 370. He was like 350 or some shit.
Yeah, I'm just starting out. Like, I started eating a little bit better, and plus, like, I started having issues like up here. Like, I thought there was something wrong with my heart.
No shit.
I was getting real scared.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was something wrong with my heart, so I went to the doctor, and I basically told the doctor, I was like, you know, I haven't worked in a year because of the pandemic with what I do. Like, there's no place open, this and that. So I just been sitting at home chilling and eating.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm starting to get like scared because I feel like I'm getting these weird like sharp pains up here. Like I said, I thought it was my heart. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack or something. And then so I went and saw the doctor. I talked to her. She ran some tests, hooked up all these things to my body that like check your heart and whatnot. She's like, your heart is fine.
Wow.
And I was like, are you sure? Like, are you positive? She's like, I'm telling you, your heart is fine.
No, what did they say you were feeling? Just like some stress?
So what they said is they were like, are you stressed out at all? And I was like, I'm not really stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, like, I mean, I've been on unemployment, so like money isn't really an issue. Plus, my wife has been working this whole past year, and she does really well for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So money wasn't really a problem. But I mean, you know, things like with my mom, trying to help her out, because my mom, she's a little bit older. You know, she's going to be 73 this year, so, and she's all by herself, living on her own.
Wow.
So she's had a couple of medical issues. So there was that. But I was like, I told her, I don't really feel that stress. And they're like, well, can you explain the pain that you're feeling a little bit more? And I was like, yeah, it comes and goes. It's just this random, like, sharp jolts, like up here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, if it was your heart, it would be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel anything right here? And I was like, once in a blue moon I will, but like, and they're like, does it feel like it's inside?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, it feels like it's like on the surface. And they're like, it sounds like you need to move your muscles around more. And I was like, that really all it is? And they're like, yeah, your heart is fine.
You just need to move around, bro.
Yeah. they're like, yeah, your heart is fine. You're fine. Like, you have nothing to worry about. You're okay.
Damn.
They were like, yeah, maybe lose a couple pounds. And they checked my blood pressure.
And how long ago was this?
This was like 3 weeks ago. Like, this just happened. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Happened. Yeah. I was really scared there for a minute. There was a couple of times at like 4 a.m.
I thought this happened just a couple of years ago.
Mm-mm. This is like 3 weeks ago, bro. There was a couple of times.
This is before your diet.
Mm-hmm. This is what prompted me to start eating a little bit better.
And since then, you lost 10 pounds?
10 pounds, yeah.
Nice.
I really started taking it seriously about a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling my wife, because there was a couple instances where at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I went into the bedroom, because I'm a night owl. Mm-hmm. And I stay up till 6 a.m. every day. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. My dad was the same way. I went into the bedroom at like 4 in the morning, and I woke my wife up, and I was like, I just need you to be awake because you might need to call 911. And she was like, what's the matter? I was like, I've got this feeling right here. I don't feel right. Like, I'm getting these weird pains. It's scaring the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. And so she would sit there with me for like an hour just to make sure I was good. Mm-hmm. props to her because she gets up at 6 a.m. to go to work every day. But never had to go to the hospital, thankfully. And then finally she was just like, you need to make a doctor's appointment. If you're really scared, like, you need to go do something. I know you hate doctors, but you need to go. So that's when I finally sucked it up and I went. And they said I was fine. They were like, you're getting in your own head about this. You need to move around more. You need to, do something with your arms. Because I told them that they're like, what are you doing at night? Since you stay up so late, what are you doing? I was like, well, because I'm not working, I'm chilling, playing video games, doing what guys do. And they were like, so how do you sit? I said, well, I sit on my couch. I got like my video game controller in my hand like this. And they're like, okay, so you're always like this? It sounds like you're pinching a nerve or something here with your muscles, like being like this all the time.
Wow, so you got like some gamer tendonitis,
something like
shit.
that, man. And again, and as soon as they said that, it started clicking in my head. I was like, you know what? I've noticed that it always seems to happen when I'm sitting there playing my video games. That's when it happens the most.
So you're just cramping up, you're cramping up a nerve, you're cramping up something about you that's obviously not making some type of sense.
Yeah, it was messing with me pretty hard. So
are you like cutting down the gaming experiences?
No. I love my video games. That's one thing. I'm a big nerd at heart. I really am. I'm a huge nerd. So what I've been doing is, I set up the move function on my watch. So like every hour it tells me to stand up. So whenever it tells me to stand up, basically what I'll do through the night is I'll get up and I'll go into my kitchen and I'll kind of do like 50 standing push-ups with my arms, just go like this, just to get a little movement. And since I've been doing that, I've been fine. Okay. Couple that with starting to eat a little bit healthier and not overeat.
Can you go take walks wherever you're at?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I don't really like, I'm not going to go out at 3 because my complex is so dark.
Yeah.
And it's San Ramon, so it's a nice area. So I'm not worried about like getting mugged or anything.
Right.
But it's just so dark out there that like.
Well, yeah, you're not going to go out in the middle of the night or some shit.
I'm a big pansy anyways. Like I don't like the dark.
Yeah.
Like when I come home at night when I'm working and everything, like I'll turn my flashlight on and I'll run up in the house, just scurry in there.
Right.
Get away from the dark.
Holy shit, man.
But yeah, I started putting.
Can you get like a Peloton or something like that, like a freaking
I would if we had the room, man.
Like a little road bike, you could probably get like a little standalone bike or something like that. You can get like a garage sale.
When we get into a house, like we'll have more room. That's the problem. Is like we're in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. We've been there for a couple years and it's nice. It's San Ramon, so it's a nice area. We love it.
You ever thought about doing like some stretches, like on a yoga mat or something?
Well, yoga, no, but like stretches, like I've started stretching a little bit more.
Get on your back and like get your arms, shit, and like.
Yeah, I'm starting to do sit-ups again.
Yeah.
There you go. That sucks with a belly, man. It's not fun.
Well, yeah, but you're trying to pick up all that shit.
It's not fun trying to do it with a belly, bro.
Yeah.
And you're like, one, tub it. It's hard, dude. It's hard, but yeah, I started eating better. Started putting greens in my diet for the first time in a long time. Started eating salads. 10 pounds in a week, man. I remember my wife looks at me all the time. She's like, I hate you. I'm like, why? You should be happy for me. She's like, oh, I'm happy for you, but I hate you because you're a guy and you can lose weight so much easier than women.
Yeah.
So my wife's always yelling at me about it. She's like, I tell her, because I'm one of those dudes, like, I can't help myself. I go and put myself on the scale every day, and you're not supposed to.
That's typically true, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, most guys lose weight hella quick and...
Much quicker. Yeah.
And you see yourself, and you said 3 weeks, so in like another 3 weeks, basically in about a month and then some, quarter or something, you could possibly lose another 10 pounds.
I hope so. That would be awesome. I would love to look at the scale and see it say 260. But for the last couple of days, I've been stuck at 270. So when I started, I was 280. And then every day it was dropping like a pound or two. And then I got to 270, and I've just been like stuck at 270.
What's the lowest weight you've ever been in your whole...
In my adult life?
Yeah, your adult life, yeah.
Probably when I was a senior in high school, when I was 180.
Okay, yeah, no way we're gonna go back to 180 in high school because I was 180 in high school.
I mean,
there's no way we're gonna go back to that.
Remember.
There's no way. Okay, so we're gonna go to, let's say, what would be your most What was the most happiest one you remember?
180 in high school. No, I would be happy. So obviously, you know, the more weight you lose, the better. You know, there's a finite amount of weight you can lose.
But there was a weight at one point where you were like, you know, yours one point obviously that you were 230 or 240.
Yeah, I was just about to say probably around like 220, 230, I would be really happy. And I would be super juiced about that.
Right.
But to be honest with you, because I went a very long time without weighing myself. I went years without weighing myself.
Right.
So I had no idea how much weight I'd put on. I mean, my license up until like 2 years ago still said 180. Because I hadn't had to renew.
You're just handing it to people like...
I hadn't had to renew my license in so
180,
long.
sir.
But yeah, getting down to about 220, 230 would be awesome. Mm-hmm. But I will like lose my mind if I can get to 250. 250. If I can just get to 250, I will be so juiced. Just to be like,
I say by the end of this year you can get to 230.
I would love that. I would love that. See, I just need to start. I need to start working out now.
Because it's not the thing about losing the weight. I think the hardest part is keeping that weight down at all times.
Oh yeah, it's keeping that weight down is definitely the hardest part. Because especially like now, like I lost 10 pounds, and I'm like, okay, well I've lost 10 pounds, so I can go have a cheeseburger now.
Yeah.
And I've been good. I've been really good. Like I've had like one instance where I was like, you know what?
So you're just adding greens to your diet.
So the two things that I'm doing is adding greens to my diet, which is hard for me because I am.
What are
not
those
a
greens?
vegetable
Spinach, romaine lettuce.
A lot of lettuce. I love cabbage.
Cabbage.
Like red cabbage. I love cabbage.
Red cabbage.
Yeah.
What do you make out of red cabbage?
You should just put it in a salad, just raw cabbage. You know the little.
Oh yeah,
the little
that's
purple?
good.
Yeah.
Like
for some reason, it's
Chinese salad.
yeah, it's purple, but they call it red cabbage. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It should be purple cabbage, right?
That's what I said, because that's what I told my wife. I was like, I love purple cabbage. She's like, that's red cabbage, babe.
Purple cabbage. It doesn't even exist. Does purple cabbage even
exist?
not.
I
Oh
guess
shit!
not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not a cabbage connoisseur by any means.
Yeah.
But I just, and I'm super. I know I'm being healthy about it because.
That would suck if purple cabbage was actually red.
And then red cabbage was purple.
Fuck.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't like dressing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super weird. Like people look at me when I'm out and I eat a salad in front of people. They're like, "What is wrong with this fucking guy?" Mm-hmm. It's just dry. But I don't like dressing.
You don't have dressing in the salad.
Nothing.
Do you add a lot of tomatoes? Because tomatoes is like dressing. No tomatoes?
I don't like tomatoes either. I like ketchup. I don't
like
tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes.
Damn, not even tomatoes on a salad,
like tomatoes.
Bro.
This is what my salad is.
You put cheese?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Because I'm a big cheesehead. Now, you want to talk about connoisseur? You were talking to a cheese connoisseur.
Cheese connoisseur? Yeah. You've been to Simply Fondue in Livermore?
Oh my God. I can't even tell you how many times.
Oh, have you been to other places that are connoisseur, like do cheeses and shit?
Simply Fondue is the main one that I go to.
What do they call that board? That charcuterie board? Charcuterie?
I can't remember the name. I think that's
like a board where they put the cheese.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. I mean,
I'm
I'm not that big of a connoisseur. You know? I'm one of those dudes where like I'll go to the store and just get blocks of cheese.
Just munch on that shit with a beer. That's what I do.
I love it, man. Especially cheddar. Sharp cheddar is like my baby. I love sharp cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
I love Monterey Jack. And I love. They say it's so bad.
So you just eat the cheese.
I'll just eat cheese.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Some people think it's like that's gross. It's
good. I love it, man. I will go in the fridge and there will be. My wife will bring home a block of sharp cheddar like this big.
Mm.
And,
sharp cheddar.
Big ass block of sharp cheddar,
bro.
It's my favorite.
I like making thin slices.
Oh, dude, I cut the big ass chunks off.
Oh shit!
Big ass chunks, man. I'll go in there with a knife and I'll just take a
and
big ass chunk.
Damn.
Just chunks out of it, man.
I like getting like the old school wire one and cut it right down as thin as possible.
The wires are great.
Yeah.
I love the wires.
The old school wire ones.
Yes, those are great. We have one of those. I love them. But I know like that's one of the things. Like I cut out a lot of cheese because it's really not good for you.
Right.
So I mean, it makes me sad, man. Every time I open the fridge, I look at that block of cheddar and I'm just like, I want you. I want you in me.
So you're just like now cabbage or lettuce or whatever.
Lettuce, cabbage, carrots. That's it for my salad. That's it.
But what do you eat it with? Like the main course?
I'll eat that as like an appetizer. Like I'll have a salad, I'll put that together, and I'll eat that, and then we'll have our entree. You know, like
what's
chicken,
the entree?
Chicken. So my wife, she's doing this thing. So I used to do a lot of the cooking when we first got married. Lately, my wife's been doing a little bit more because I'm one of those dudes where like I have all my family recipes, and that's what I cook.
Greek stuff.
Greek food, steak. Like my wife don't cook steak. I have to cook the steak.
Me too. Same thing.
Yeah, she don't like cooking the steak. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I love cooking steak. Mm-hmm. I have Greek chicken that I make.
Greek chicken.
Greek chicken is the best chicken you will ever have in your life.
Do you do breast or what do you do?
I do breast.
The breast.
I do breast. Yeah.
Is it a secret?
It's a family secret. I can give away parts of it. I can't give away the whole recipe, or else if my mom sees this, she might.
What would you compare
kill
the
me.
chicken taste to? Like, is there a restaurant or something that you can compare? Or
so if you go into a real Greek place, like a real Greek restaurant that knows what they're doing,
okay,
you will have
a gyro.
Gyros. You know, I'm weird on gyros. Okay.
Oh man, I like how you said that.
I love them.
Have you ever been to the Greek Orthodox, the fair, whatever they have?
Oh,
over
the
there
Greek
by
festival
by the Mormon temple.
Oh yeah, I'm there every year.
Dude,
I go to the Greek festival.
I just went
every
there
year.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I love.
We might have ran into each other.
I'm there every year.
Okay,
man.
okay. You were going back onto.
So with really good Greek food, you know it's good if like you can really taste the lemon, but it's not super overpowering.
Lemon. Okay.
If you understand what that means, because
Yeah.
Greeks, we put lemon on everything, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so lamb, chicken. The only thing that I can think of that doesn't really
Your
have.
guys' lamb is the shit.
Oh, dude, Greek lamb is the best. It's called pevakia.
Palakia.
That's the best. That's my favorite. Pevakia with a side of either Greek rice
Do you
pilaf
know
or
actually
Greek
some?
potatoes.
Do you actually know some Greek?
A little bit. I know a lot of the bad words that my dad taught me.
Have you been there before?
No, never been to Greece. I have family out there.
Oh, you actually have family.
I have family.
You have, like blood.
That's a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
How I found out that I had family still in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That is hilarious. So this was before my dad had passed away.
Okay.
And
your dad is the Greek side.
yes, my dad is a full-blooded Greek.
All right, so hold on. Let's get back. Let's get before we get on to going through with the podcast.
All
It's
right.
been recording the whole time.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I think you knew that.
Yeah, I did. It's fine. It's fine.
We are here today in the Just Call It podcast with the infamous DJ Eden Roc, which doesn't want to be known by his name, which is totally
You
fine.
can call me James. It doesn't
His
matter.
name is James, but I will not tell you his last name. But you can go to his DJ. He can go to his Instagram at DJ Eden Roc,
DJ Eden Roc.
which will be here in the video, right here in the bottom.
And remember, there's no C on the rock. A lot of people get that wrong.
You mean there's no K?
Sorry, there's no K.
There you go.
See, even I forget my own name.
You're right. I got my notes, bro. I got you back.
I even forget my own name. I'm
Okay,
glad you
so his
remember.
name is DJ, as you would say for a DJ, Eden Roc, EDENROC. I'll put it right here. You can also go to his Twitter, which he also has a really good Twitter for sports. It's called EastBay_sports.
Yes.
It's a really good Twitter, which will be right here in the bottom.
It's mainly A's. If you're an A's fan, follow me.
There you go. As you can tell by his green and gold hat, he's obviously an infamous A's fan.
A little popular in the baseball world.
There you go. And we'll get into that also as well, because obviously you can't ignore the fact that this guy is season ticket holder, I would imagine.
Season ticket holder coming up on 10 years.
Season ticket holder coming up 10 years, going to the A's game, going to the Oakland Coliseum. Or is it, that's still the Coliseum,
Yep,
right?
Oakland Coliseum.
What was
The
it?
home of champions.
The home of champions. What was? But who called that? Is that the A's terminology for calling that, or is that the Raiders
I
terminology?
want to say that was coined by
the Raiders by Al.
first of all, I love Al Davis.
Davis.
His son, not so much.
What's his son name?
Mark.
Mark Davis.
Not a big fan of Mark and him moving the team to Las Vegas. Haven't touched a Raider game since. So,
Damn.
yeah, completely disassociated.
Since when again?
So they announced they got clearance to move in 2016. So I haven't watched a game since 2016.
You haven't watched a Raider
I
game?
have not watched a football game since 2016. In general, no Super Bowls, nothing. During the Super Bowl, I will turn on the commercials, and I will watch the halftime performance. But when the actual game's on, I put my head in my phone. Don't care.
You don't watch no more football?
Nothing, man. Cold turkey.
You're never gonna watch no more football?
Nope. Nothing.
Why? Wait. Hold on, dude. Before we get it, let's go.
Let's finish this before, because that's a whole nother story.
James is from the Bay Area. Have you grown up in the Bay Area all your life?
Yeah, grew up San Ramon and Hayward.
San Ramon and Hayward. Where were you born?
I was born in Walnut Creek.
Born in Walnut Creek at the hospital in Kaiser?
John Muir.
John Muir.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And you also, your social security number?
My social, 775-822. I don't remember.
My social is 6666666. All right. All right. So we answered that. He was born in Walnut Creek. He's lived in Hayward and the San Ramon most of his life. Our relation is that we went to high school together.
We did. California High School.
Infamous California High School. The best school in the motherfucking world.
Home of the California Fighting Grizzlies.
Home of the champions.
At least in baseball. Football, no, not so much.
Well, I'm in champions of academics, but I wasn't good at the academics.
We did have a lot of smart kids at our school.
Yeah, I wasn't one of them, but that's okay.
Neither was I, brother.
Yeah. Well, cheers to that. Sorry, you just drinking
with my water.
Cheers with water. Cheers with cacti. Not a sponsor from Travis Scott Pineapple Juice. Not a sponsor. Please don't sue me. But I'm still going to put it out there. I don't give a shit. All right. Get this paintbrush out of the paperweight.
All right. Is it okay to vape in here or no?
Yeah, I don't care.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's a tobacco, by the way. So, by the way.
Horrible habit. Don't start.
Habit. James is from the Bay Area. He's an artist, a DJ, as it would say. Would you say you're more of a DJ or more of an artist?
I'm more of a DJ.
More of a DJ.
Yeah, I do make my own remixes, but I wouldn't classify myself as an artist, because to me an artist is somebody who is creating their own music. Mm-hmm. I don't. I'm taking other people's music, putting my own spin on it.
And what's the music? What's the medium that you mainly use to do your spinning?
So what I run on is, obviously I prefer turntables. Techniques 1200s are the industry standard.
I used to have a Technique sweater back in freaking 5th grade. It was the best sweater. I
always wanted a T-shirt that said Techniques on it. And I never got one. Yeah,
dude,
I always wanted.
That's one thing that I had one up on you. I owned a sweater that had.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous.
It was actually in 5th grade, bro. My uncle used to wear that back when raving was popular in SF, back in the 90s.
Underground raves.
Yeah, underground raves.
The warehouses.
That's where they get the Techniques.
Which is now coincidentally a baseball field.
Oh shit. Where?
AT&T Park. Well,
that's where the raves used to be at. You mean?
So the Giants, they play at, what's it called now?
AT&T Park. You said it right.
It's Pac Bell or something. No, it used to be Pac Bell. Then it became AT&T. Now it's like T-Mobile Park or something.
Oh, really?
It's something weird.
See, I don't even watch baseball anymore. See, we'll get into all that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame you. The Giants are horrible. So
that's okay. I'll accept that.
I am not a fan of the orange and black over there in the San Francisco.
Have you almost ever gotten in a fight with a Giants fan before?
I'm never in a physical altercation.
But more in like talk shit altercation.
I've been in many verbal altercations
with a Giants fan.
With Giants fans, yes.
But at the A Stadium.
Both.
Oh, at both.
At both.
You've been at both stadiums and just been like, "Fuck you, you bastard."
So
fuck the A's. Fuck the Giants. Your eyes got big when I said fuck.
Me and my wife. So where we sit at the A's games is we're part of what's known as the right field bleacher crew.
Right.
So
you sit right next to right field Will.
I do. Okay. He's one of my best friends. He was in my wedding. He was one of my groomsmen. We go back a very long time.
Was he your best man?
No, my best man was Kevin.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
From high school.
Will.
My best friend. Will is one of my closest friends.
Mm-hmm. And you met him through, obviously, maybe your 10 years of...
sitting at the A's games, yeah. So we started sitting out there. Well, me and my wife have been going to A's games ever since we got together. Mm-hmm. I grew up at the Coliseum. My parents and me, we baseball, football.
And it was always for A's and Raiders games.
Always A's and Raiders. Once in a while, we would hit a Warriors game, but I've never been huge on basketball. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. Those world title runs that the Warriors went on were awesome to be a part of.
You went to go see those.
Went to the parades. We never actually went to any
the recent one with
playoff
Steph
games.
Curry.
Yeah, with Steph.
Because there was never ones before, right?
Right.
I said
Unless,
recent ones.
except
You
for
know,
the
recent
70s,
ones.
The 70s, that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we get into basketball when the Warriors are good. But we're not huge basketball guys. We were always a football, baseball family.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me down with the football with the Raiders. The reason why, like them moving to Vegas, that was the end for me. And I'll explain more about the way I grew up with that.
Mm-hmm.
But so we've been going to A's games my whole life, and then me and my wife got together back when we were young, and she grew up a Giants fan.
Oh,
and
you turned her into an
I
A's
turned
fan.
her into an A's fan. I told her I was like,
That's one less. That's one less, guys.
That's one less Giants
The
fan.
more
on
you
this
keep
planet.
fucking up on the game side, you lose thousands. But you see men like this that meet Giants fans.
Sorry, that was my mother calling me
That's
right
okay.
there.
You can answer it if you want.
Oh, can I? There we go.
That's like the perfect song. That we would dance to. Maybe you kick your feet like, damn.
I love
Dude,
it, man.
I didn't even know how to dance like all that shit.
I don't know why it's been stuck in my head lately.
Dude, that's a bomb song.
It is so good.
That's a song you do like lines to. I think that's
Right.
even to like the late 80s.
I love it.
All right, and we're back to the Just Call It podcast talking about DJ Eden Roc, James, unknown last name.
That's me. I don't have a last name.
Doesn't have a last name. Just call it Xenon.
I like it.
James Xenon. Anyways, now James, I'm gonna ask you first the good question because we were talking a lot about the A's and Raiders and all that stuff, but I pulled out some questions that I pulled out 3 questions that I felt that were most important to ask you.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to cross out 1 as we keep going along. Number 2 of this question of May 8th, 2021. If the earthquake of 6.9 magnitude did not take place at Candlestick Park, would the Giants have turned around and won that World Series? Now, I'm going to name the game because it only took 4 games for the A's to win. They swept the Giants.
They sure did.
They did.
Greatest World Series of all time.
Now, the first 2 games were at home, okay? Which statistically is obvious that you would win at, right?
Right.
The A's won at, I forget the name of the
Candlestick.
stadium. No. It
Oh,
was the
Oakland,
first 2 games.
The Oakland Coliseum.
Oakland Coliseum. Okay, sorry about that. No disrespect.
No worries, none taken.
Okay. The A's won 5-0. Completely fucked up the Giants. 5-0. Okay, let me make sure this is recording. Because I love asking you questions that stump people that love stuff like this. Yes, it's cool. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, the first game, game 1, at home, the A's swept the Giants 5-0. Okay, game 2, the A's swept the Giants 5-1. I'd still call that a sweep to me, because especially after the second game, it's like, dude, just 1 point. All right, so the next game, game 3, is the day of the earthquake, which happened on October 17th, and the game just started. I think it was like 6 minutes in the game or some shit like that.
I don't even think they hadn't even thrown first pitch yet.
They didn't even throw. They didn't even do anything. The earthquake happened. 6.9. Boom. October 17th got rescheduled, I think, to October 28th.
And it was like 2 weeks later.
Okay. The Giants put up 7 points, but the A's killed them with 13 at their home. Okay, that's pretty significant. Now, that's after the earthquake. Looked like the Giants came a little bit strong, a little more pizzazz, right?
I mean, at least they tried.
They tried, right?
Yeah.
They put up a good fight. And then, in game 4, the A's put up 9 points, and the Giants put up only 6 points, 3 points behind. Just trying to get up there. Now, would you feel that the earthquake was any significant to beating the Giants? Or if the earthquake didn't even happen, you think the Giants could have came back at home?
I don't think the Giants, and I'm not, people are going to look at this and say, oh, he's an A's fan. Of course he's going to answer this like this. But let me explain. No, the Giants had no shot at winning that World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And let me explain to you why. The A's were an absolute powerhouse in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming off 1988, where they lost the World Series to the Dodgers. They had Mark McGwire on that team.
Ooh.
Jose Canseco.
I think at that time we had Will Clark.
You guys had Will Clark on that team, yes. Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Dave Stewart.
If we had Will Clark, that means we must have had Barry Bonds just come
No,
on.
Bonds, I don't think Bonds had, if Bonds had started playing, he was still in Pittsburgh. He was still in Pittsburgh at that point if he had started playing. But the A's were an absolute powerhouse. They had Ricky Henderson, the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. Also, my favorite baseball player of all time.
Oh my God.
Is Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson.
Love him. They had Dennis Eckersley closing the games.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way in hell that the Giants were going to win that World Series. Now,
I think with those points alone, if I total them up right here, statistically, the A's would have killed them even if there wasn't an earthquake. They
would have been lucky to win one game. Now, the one thing I will give the Giants in their favor is after the earthquake, because they had to push the games back, what that allowed the A's to do was it allowed them to reset their rotation and pitch Dave Stewart again. Mm. Because Dave Stewart, who was the A's ace at the time, he was their best pitcher. He started game 1. It's what you do with your best pitcher, obviously.
Same for game 4, game whatever.
Game 3 was not supposed to be Dave Stewart's game. Mm-hmm. Because of that earthquake, they had to push it back 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, the Giants, they stayed in the Bay Area. And they did a lot of work around San Francisco trying to help with the recovery effort. Whereas the A's, unfortunately, the A's didn't do that. Mm-hmm. The A's packed up and they went down to Arizona. Mm-hmm. They went down to the spring training complex. And they kept practicing for those 2 weeks. The Giants didn't. So when the A's came back to start that World Series again, the Giants won. They hadn't played a game in 2 weeks, whereas the A's were still doing scrimmage games, but the A's were rested. It allowed them to completely redo their rotation. So Dave Stewart got to pitch game 3. If that World Series doesn't happen, Dave Stewart doesn't pitch game 3.
That's true.
And I think game 3, either game 3 or game 4,
typically goes to the other team.
It would have been the Giants game, I think. I think the Giants would have won one of those 2 games at least. I think the Giants, if the earthquake hadn't happened, I think the Giants do win a game.
Not 2?
Maybe 2, but they ain't winning the World Series.
Okay, so
that team was so stacked.
Check this out.
It was ridiculous how stacked that team was.
Dude, can we go back to the lineup? I wish I had my laptop to check it. Would you be able to check it on your phone?
I can pull it up right now.
All right, we're going to check this out. And we're going to check statistically. Because I think we had some good people. Because I think Jeff Kent was cool.
Jeff Kent wasn't on that team.
Jeff Kent?
He came later.
Damn.
So let me read you the...
Because Mark McGwire was always a beast.
Let me read you
I always liked Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire was always the shit.
1989 Oakland Athletics.
Let's just read their lineup.
Start with them.
Because we're gonna go back to the question. After we read the lineup and everything.
All right. Let's see. All right. So this is the pitching staff. Do you want me to read the whole thing, or do you want me to just name like the big?
I want to read.
I
want everything. I want to read everything.
So the pitching staff. You had Todd Burns, Greg Catterate, Jim Corsi, Storm Davis, Bill Dolly, Dennis Eckersley, one of the greatest closers of all time. Rick Honeycutt, who was a great pitcher. Mike Moore, great pitcher.
Sounds like he would fuck you up. He'd cut you up with some cutters.
Gene Nelson, Dave Otto, Eric Plunk, Brian Snyder, Dave Stewart, one of the best starters ever. Bob Welsh, super underrated. Kurt Young, great pitcher. Matt Young. That was the pitching staff. And then the catchers, you had Terry Steinbach, phenomenal catcher. He was the number one guy for the catching. Infielders, you had Larry Arndt, Mike Gallego, who, if I remember, Gallego was, I believe, the starting second baseman. Carney Lansford. You had Mark McGuire, Tony Phillips, Walt Weiss. Those are some star players. You go into the outfield. Dave Henderson, who they had gotten from Pittsburgh. Ricky Henderson, who they had reacquired in trade.
They're not brothers.
No, they're not brothers.
Okay.
Ricky is from Oakland, born and raised.
Wow.
You have Jose Canseco. The team was loaded. They had Dave Parker. That was a loaded team.
Yeah.
Loaded team. And then, obviously, I don't know the Giants roster that well.
No.
I know you guys had Will Clark.
You want me to announce it? I don't want to you defame your mouth. Like, how can you dare announce that lineup?
I mean, if you want to, do you want me to pull up the Giants?
If you could please pull up the Giants.
All right, let me pull up the Giants.
Because I'm sorry, I will completely admit. Let me get some glasses. I feel like I'm dying.
Let's see here. All right. So the Giants' main batting order, main lineup, you had Terry Kennedy, Will Clark, Robbie Thompson, Jose Uribe, Ernie Riles, Kevin Mitchell, Brett Butler, Candy Maldonado. At least that's what it looks like their starting lineup was.
That was for pitching.
I can name two guys in that lineup, Will Clark and Jose Uribe. Those are the only two I can name.
Who are the other people?
Terry Kennedy was their catcher. I don't know him. Robbie Thompson was their second baseman. I don't know him. Ernie Riles, third base, don't know him. Kevin Mitchell sounds familiar, left fielder. Brett Butler, Candy Maldonado.
Oh, you already named them.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
okay.
That's their...
No disrespect. The A's would have won. All right. Boom. We'll skip that topic.
I don't know for sure if that was their actual starting lineup.
But,
like I said, I don't really pay attention to the Giants.
And the question I asked was, if the earthquake of 1989, whatever, 6.9, did not take place at Candlestick Park, would the Giants have had a chance to beat the A's? And the answer to that from both you and me is completely a no. The Giants...
They had no shot.
No shot.
They had no shot.
The Giants would have fucking lost. Me as a Giants fan, I would admit that.
Giants stood no chance in that series.
No chance. Now, let's move on to other questions that I had for you. Who were your life inspirations growing up as a person? Like, would you say, like, summing up now, would you say, like, maybe there was somebody on the time when you were growing up at, like, 10 that you really loved, or that you still, like, kind of, like, still admire to this day, or somebody still love all the way through your life, or somebody currently? Like, or at least name 3 people, or just one.
Let's see. Inspiration-wise,
who are your
just in general,
inspirations?
just in life general.
That's like like, because I was gonna ask you, because you're a DJ, right?
Right.
Who are your artist influences?
Who?
Oh,
that's a fun one.
Because then I want to know who's the verses. Who is the best?
So,
like, who would you choose between Biggie and Pac?
Oh, Tupac, for sure.
Tupac.
I grew up.
Overall, like best, like everything in general.
To me, Tupac is the greatest hip hop artist of all time, like without a doubt. And I appreciate Biggie. I love Big. Don't get me wrong. I mean, who doesn't? It's so hard, that question, you know, the Biggie versus Tupac, which one's better? And I think it really depends on what your style of hip hop is, like what you appreciate.
He did have some good rhymes.
Because I've had this conversation so many times with so many people, you know.
But not on a podcast.
Not on a podcast. So let me
what you say is real.
Let me explain this one. Tupac and Biggie were two very, very different artists. They may have both been in the same genre of music, but they were the polar opposites. Notorious Big, he was a lyricist. That man,
dude,
lyrics that he put together will be never touched.
Who would he be compared to as a lyricist or as
I don't
know
if you could compare him to anybody, because to me, you can only compare people to him.
True.
Because that's how good he was. To me, he's the best lyricist of all time.
Have you ever played his music at a club?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's your music go-to song you would choose from Biggie?
Oh God, you know, a lot of people would say like, most people would probably say like Hypnotize or Juicy. To me, it was always going back to Cali.
Oh,
I love going back to Cali, and dropping that track in a California nightclub is awesome.
Oh, you also played in Arizona, true.
I did used to play in Arizona. I loved Arizona. Arizona had such a fun scene, man. I miss Tucson.
You physically have gone to a club in Arizona and played and done every...
I had a monthly down there. So
wow.
I never really played much in Phoenix, but in Arizona I did a lot in Tucson, which is where University of Arizona's at. So it's a big college town. And I had two gigs down there that I would play once a month. I would go down there and I would do them back-to-back nights. So every Saturday I was at this club called Playground, which was a double-decker nightclub. You had Down Below, which was where the main bar was. They had a DJ down there, and then on the rooftop was the main dance floor, and that's where I was at. I was up on the main dance floor. That place was incredible. Such a good time being in a college town, especially, you know, at that time I was like 25, 26. So I'm still right in that age group. I had a blast, man. You could play pretty much anything there, and these kids would just go batshit.
Yeah, crazy.
They loved it, man. It was great, and I always liked playing down there because there are places up here in the Bay Area where you can't get away with playing everything. There are some clubs up here where it's like you pretty much got to stick to hip hop. Now, granted, I'm a hip hop guy. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like to play mainly. But I really do enjoy playing a lot of electronic music. There's a lot of stuff that I really like. And I'll never forget when I was playing down in Arizona, that's right when Animals had come out from Martin Garrix. And that was like the biggest song in the country. And I remember the first time that I played that song there, I thought the roof was going to cave in. That's how crazy these people got when I dropped that track. I played it like probably around like 12:30, 12:45. So we're right in the middle of prime time. Prime time for DJs is that last like hour and a half, 2 hours of your set.
Of anybody's set.
Yeah, so when you're in a nightclub, you know, 90% of nightclubs will close around 2 a.m., right? That's usually the cutoff time. So, starting at midnight, that's really where you start picking it up. And that's where you really you drop everything you got. Starting at midnight is where it just takes off. And we call that prime time. So, you're right in the middle of prime time, 12:30, 12:45. And you drop Animals, and the place just like they blew the roof off, man. We were on the roof, but they blew the roof off. Like I said, they were jumping and they were going so nuts that I thought the roof was gonna cave in. Wow. It was ridiculous. Tucson, man, they know how to party down there. Arizona is fun. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend anybody who hasn't been to Arizona go to either Phoenix or Tucson. Now in Phoenix, there's a lot of stuff in Phoenix. Scottsdale, which is right next to Phoenix, that's like the nightclub hub of Arizona. They have a bunch of nightclubs all right next to each other in Scottsdale.
That's what kind of level of nightclub are they? Vegas level of nightclubs?
I think a couple of them are. I mean, I never played in Scottsdale. Like Scottsdale, they were hiring a lot of really, really big names, from what I remember. Like in the DJ industry, like they were bringing Vegas guys down there. They were doing a lot of stuff in Scottsdale. So I never played there. And because I was down there for work, I didn't really have a lot of time to just go out and do things. And Tucson's like 3 hours away from Phoenix in Scottsdale. So I would get out of the airport in Phoenix and hop on a shuttle for 3 hours and go down to Tucson. Because Tucson's right down there towards the border. Wow. You're getting close to Mexico when you're down there. So I was just getting on this shuttle, going down there. Saturday night I was at Playground, and then Sunday we did a day party at this place called Hi-Fi, which was like across the street. So I would do those two. And then once in a while I had a bunch of buddies down there, and they would have me do this other place. Sometimes I would go down on a Friday and I would play at this spot called O'Malley's on 4th, which was like a Irish pub. but they had this huge dance
definitely
floor.
O'Malley's Irish Pub.
They had this huge dance floor like hidden in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So you first walk in and you just see this big open bar area, right, with like tables and everything, and then there's this door. And I'm like I remember the first time I walked in there with my buddy Jeff. His name is DJ Dibs. Great guy. Best beard in the game. Like, for sure. He's
DJ Dibs out in
DJ
Scottsdale.
Dibs in Tucson.
In Tucson.
He's got the best beard in the DJ industry, and it's not even close. That thing is glorious.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this guy up. DJ Dibs.
It's so good. So he had booked me to play there that night with him. We were doing a tag team set. I walk into this bar, and I'm like, where the hell is the dance floor at, man?
Mm-hmm.
There was like nobody there, and I'm like, this is gonna be a dud, but you know, whatever. I'm down here to have fun.
Right.
So he's like, dance floor's back here. Come with me. So we walk and we go through this door. And when we go through this door, I'm thinking he's like taking me out back or something. We go through the door and it's just this huge wide open space. And there's this big old stage on the other side. And I'm like, okay, now this is a dance floor. The thing was huge.
Damn.
Had no idea this was back there. Just this huge dance floor. So we go up on the stage and we start playing. And like I said, at first, like, there was nobody there. So I was like, damn, like, does this place not really crack off? Like,
Yeah.
But then around like 11 o'clock,
Everything, money.
packed, man. I
Everything.
couldn't move in that place.
Damn.
It was nuts.
It was just the last spot of the night.
That was my introduction to Tucson, was O'Malley's. And then the next night is when I did Playground for the first time.
So you're a DJ who's played not only in the Bay Area, but you've also played in Arizona. In some parts of Arizona, some of the main areas where the DJs need to go, right? Make good money.
Tucson is where I was at predominantly. And then Phoenix and Scottsdale.
Just give me for a second. I'm gonna put on the light real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Boom. At least get that. So you namely played in Tucson,
Yeah, I was in Tucson.
and that's like is that the main place where everyone would want to go as like a DJ?
I mean, so the main place that everybody would want to go would be Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is where, that's the little hub where all the main nightclubs are. But like I said, Tucson is like 3 hours away. So the reason why Scottsdale is so big is because right there you have Arizona State. That's up in Phoenix. And then in Tucson you've got the University of Arizona.
Right there. Yeah.
So you have those two. I mean, they're both pretty big. I mean, most people, when they think of nightclubs in Arizona, they think of Scottsdale.
Right.
And it's cool, but I like Tucson.
Right.
I thought Tucson was amazing. And but I've also never played in Scottsdale.
Right. So you not only played in Arizona, but you've also played in the Bay Area. And where have you played in the Bay Area or in California in general?
So in the Bay Area, I've played pretty much at most of the major nightclubs since I've been in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last couple of years, things have changed a lot. A lot of clubs have gone under, a lot are gone. So they're not around anymore. A bunch of new clubs have popped up, and there's a bunch that I haven't played at now.
Right.
And that has a lot to do with the fact that I just kind of stopped taking bookings in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that's gone on in the city that I'm not a fan of. I don't feel safe going out there. So I stopped taking gigs out there. And the industry has changed. But in terms of the biggest clubs that I've played out here, the biggest one would arguably be City Nights, where I had a residency.
Mm-hmm. That's a big club.
That's a big club.
Especially,
and I was in the main room.
Obviously, COVID probably killed it. Who knows what's going on with that shit? But
They'll be back. I mean, the owner, I know the owner, and the guy is loaded. They're going to be fine. They'll be perfectly fine. But City Nights, so I had a
you
residency
hear that,
there.
everybody? City Nights is going to come back.
Just what we need. The only 18 and up club in the entire Bay Area.
Who doesn't want that? Who's been at home, stuck it for, homeschool kids? Now they can't go back to school and shit.
Can't go out, can't do nothing.
Can't do nothing. Of course they want to just get out of high school. They just graduated. There's nothing like great. They can't even see anybody at school. Can't even make new friends. Of course you're going to go to an 18-year-old club. Of course you're going to go.
I mean, who didn't?
I never went to
You never went to City Nights?
I never went to City Nights.
Wow, man.
Never.
That was the spot.
I went to EPR. That's where I went.
That was at City Nights.
That's
EPR,
City Nights?
that's City Nights.
Really?
Yeah.
EPR.
EPR on Wednesdays?
Yeah.
That's City Nights.
No shit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've been to City Nights.
So the actual club is called City Nights.
Okay.
But every night is a different name for the different type of event. So EPR was on Wednesdays. I was there on Thursdays, which was, it was called The Crib. That was the gay night.
Okay.
So that's the night that I DJ'd. Me and my old partner, my buddy, we're not friends anymore. But long story, and that's a whole nother story for another time. But
your partner?
He was my DJ partner.
Okay, DJ partner.
Yeah, he was my DJ partner.
When you said that you guys also DJ'd for a gay club, gay night.
No. I was
my partner.
I am very much straight. Yes. I am married to a woman.
There you go.
A biological woman.
Yes.
I love her to death.
Her last name is Xenon.
Yes, now it is because she married me. But no. So honestly, as a straight DJ, gay clubs were my favorite times DJing of my life.
Right. Absolutely,
no doubt about it.
Nice.
I will take gigs in a gay club over a straight club any day of the week.
Because there's no hassle.
No hassle.
They're just like, hey man, James, come right in.
Dude, they're the coolest people, man.
Yeah.
They're the coolest people. They're so nice. Like, there's never any issues. There's never really fights. I mean, once in a while there will be, but like, there's not a lot of fights. Everybody's super cool. You can play whatever you want. And then there's a lot of tracks that you can play in like a gay club that you would get ran out of the club for playing at a straight club. And it's songs that I enjoy because I'm one of those people, I just like good music.
Right.
You know, I'm a hip hop guy, but I just like good music.
Right.
And there's a lot of music that you can get away with playing at a gay club because it's more like you have people that they just like that music. Whereas if you drop that song, let's see, what would be a good example?
Like Little John, like clap your fingers.
Oh no, snap your fingers, man! You play that anywhere. It don't matter where you play that. That's gonna go off. That is a classic.
Oh, like Lady Gaga song. Or something.
Lady Gaga is a great example. Okay, there are certain songs from Gaga that like you can play wherever, but there are other songs like.
What song can you play wherever?
Probably Just Dance. You know, her first big song. That song was really big in every style of club, but she's got so many other songs that like me.
Can you really play that in any club?
I've been able to play that song anywhere and I've gotten away with it. Just Dance.
Just Dance?
Yes. Dude, you remember how popular that song was?
I would never be on the dance floor if that song came out.
That song was
that's a lady song. That's a lady
But see, that's the thing about DJing is that's a thing that a lot of DJs forget.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Here's the secret, guys. If you guys want to be a DJ, all the young kids who watch this.
Play to the women.
Play to the women.
Never play for the guys. Never, ever play for the guys.
Right. I've never done that, but like, here's the secret of DJing. Right here. Play for the women.
That is literally the biggest piece of knowledge that I can pass on into anybody that wants to be a DJ. When you're in a nightclub setting, don't play for yourself.
Like a nightclub, as in like, you know, you're going to a local club. They're playing some hip hop. They're playing a little bit of EDM. They're playing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
The best top hits or whatever.
Those are the clubs I play in where you can play anything.
Right.
Open format is what it's called.
Right.
I like open format. If somebody wants to book me at a place that only plays like EDM,
if it's a place like an EDM type of place, who do you play for there?
So EDM is different. Okay, it's a completely different world than playing as an open format DJ. So as an EDM DJ, first of all, most EDM DJs are not playing live. Most of their sets are pre-recorded. They will sit there on a computer on Ableton or whatever program they have, and they will put the set together, pre-mix it, and then when they go into the nightclubs, they will just hit play and then just stand there and clap their hands and act like they're turning knobs on a mixer. True. That's why I have no respect for a lot of EDM DJs.
Dang. Because
they don't play.
That's true.
Most of them don't even know how to use a mixer. They will, like some of the biggest guys that you know, the Tiesto's a bad example because Tiesto knows how to play. He blew up in a time where you still had to play live.
Old school, yeah.
But you have a lot of these younger EDM cats, like your Martin Garrixes of the world, or even David Guetta is known for doing this. Steve Aoki, all these guys that are super huge and they're millionaires. They're millionaires because they produce music.
Who's probably at their height and level, someone else is probably producing it for them.
There's a lot of them that have been accused of having ghostwriters. Steve Aoki There's,
really?
I've heard.
Cake throwing?
Man, I've heard so many rumors.
Dude, I saw him live one time in Vegas. He threw a cake.
I would never pay to see anybody like that live.
Why?
And it's I don't mean it disrespectfully, because, like I said, I enjoy their music. I do. But I'm not gonna spend $100 to go watch a dude press play and stand there and clap his hands.
He is jumping around his DJ booth.
They don't. Dude, Steve Aoki. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but is that okay?
I don't care for shit.
It's too late now, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to DJ. He's not a DJ.
Oh.
He is not a DJ. Steve Aoki is not a DJ. He is a producer who makes good music and will stand there and put on a show. And that's fine if you're into people putting on shows. But if you think the guy is actually up there transitioning from song to song, you're crazy.
Oh, no.
Because he's not. Half the time that equipment isn't even plugged in.
I mean, how long does it take for someone to throw a cake and the stage in? Probably it takes at least 10 minutes because he tries to hype it up, get everyone to be like, oh, throw it on me or something like that.
Yeah.
Or don't throw it on me.
Exactly.
Right,
It's all show, man. It's a show.
So he's not making a song in loop for 10 minutes. It's not a song. Let's just play the Doors or something like that for 10 minutes.
It's literally an hour-long mix. Mm-hmm. Something that you would hear on the radio.
Have you ever played the Doors live? I'm just going to cite.
Actually, yes.
What the fuck?
I have played the Doors live.
Oh my god, you made the pin cap.
You think, how do you do that, right?
Right.
How would that ever fit into a nightclub setting?
Yeah.
So I have a remix of so first of all, the Doors were my dad's all-time favorite band.
Nice. Dude, rest in peace.
My dad loved the Doors, and his favorite song was Riders on the Storm.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite song in the whole world.
So I grew up listening to the Doors, especially Riders on the Storm.
Oh, yeah. That was the first song that hooked me to it.
Yeah, I love it. So you might remember this. Do you remember back at the original Xbox?
Yeah.
There was a nice game that came out called Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah.
One of the tracks on that video game was a remix of Riders on the Storm. It was a hip hop remix.
Wasn't it with Snoop Dogg? Yeah.
And I always loved that remix. And years later, I had gotten into the DJ industry at this point.
Damn, I wish I.
And I remember, so 2013 rolls around, my dad passes away, and I was trying to think of, I wanted to do something for him, because when he passed away, I canceled all my gigs for probably about 6 months. I didn't DJ at all. I didn't work. I didn't do anything. I just sat at home.
Wow.
Didn't do anything. But
how old were you when you passed away?
Let's see. 2013. It's probably 23, 24.
Wow.
Somewhere around there. My dad was older. My parents had me late in life.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the way I think about it. Is that's getting enough age to look back at it and be like, damn, yeah.
It was rough, man.
Yeah.
Because me and my dad were really close, so I canceled all my gigs, and I just sat at home and just wallowed in my own sorrow. Because that was one of the few times in my life where I was legitimately so depressed I didn't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. It's my dad, especially coming from where I came from with my family. My parents, they split up when I was 5, and my dad was just gone. Wow. I didn't see him for a long time, multiple years. I didn't see him. Mm-hmm. And then when I finally did start seeing him again, our relationship was very rocky, because he was in a relationship with somebody that I didn't particularly like.
Usually happens.
There was a lot of issues there, and then there was a lot of abuse from her. So when I became old enough to be able to make my own decisions, and the way that works for anybody that has divorced parents, they'll probably know. If your parents have joint custody, I don't know if it's changed now, but at least back then, when you turned 13, you could decide who you wanted to live with. Mm-hmm. And when I turned 13, I made the decision that I didn't want to go to my dad's house anymore because I didn't want to be around her.
Right.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I was so tired of it. Mm-hmm. I was tired of the constant punishment for no reason. Mm-hmm. Just because I was somebody, my dad had a kid before he was with her. Mm-hmm. I was tired of it. Mm-hmm. And that was really hard. because I loved my father, and I always wanted a relationship with my father. I strived for that for a very long time. So then, as I got a little bit older and I got into high school, probably around 16, 17, I would talk to my dad on the phone all the time, but I would never go to his house. He would come out, pick me up, we would go have lunch, things like that, but I refused to go to his house. I was like, I do not want to see her at all. I want nothing to do with her. Finally, around 16, 17, I went out to lunch with my dad one day, and he basically was like, you know, things are different. Just, can you please just try and come over? I want to try to make things work. So I did. And me and my dad ended up having a great relationship,
right.
Especially when I really started taking sports really seriously, getting into the A's and the Raiders, like really, really getting into them.
Right.
That's where me and my dad really clicked, was when it came to sports. And we ended up just becoming like best friends. Like, I mean, that was my guy, you know,
right.
He was my dude. And it was to the point we were so close that the original plan when me and my wife got engaged, because we've been engaged for a very long time before we actually tied the knot, I wanted my dad to be my best man.
Right.
And my best friend Kevin was understanding of that. He totally understood that. So me and my dad were very close. So when he died, it screwed me up big time. So I took a really big step back from the DJ world, from everything. And I just sat there and I just needed to like recalibrate my life and like kind of screw my head back on straight. So when I finally decided that I was going to go back and DJ again, I wanted to find a way to kind of like give something to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew that like if something ever happened to my dad, the first time I DJ'd after something happened to him, I was going to try and play a song from The Doors to close out the night for him.
Nice.
And it was actually at Outpost, and it was a Friday night. I was sitting there and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to play this song. Like, I wanted to play Riders on the Storm for him, but I was like, there's no way this song's going to go over. Like,
I felt like I was there.
Yeah, like it's just not, you might have been there for all I know. I mean, you might have been there. I was like, there's no way this is going to work. So then I started thinking about it and I was like, oh, well, maybe if I can get the remix, that old remix from that video game, because it thing was so dope. It was a cool hip hop beat. It had Snoop Dogg on it.
And you were like 23?
Yeah, I was like 23, 24.
When you played this song.
Yeah, so I went, and luckily, you know, at Outpost, I had internet access, so I could download songs if I needed to.
Oh, nice.
I didn't tell people that because I didn't want people coming up asking me to play shit off YouTube.
Yeah,
which is a big no-no. I'm so tired of people asking me to play a song off YouTube when I'm trying to DJ. Like, it doesn't work that way. I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, play that YouTube version.
Right? So I went and I actually...
Can you even do that anyways?
No. So the way that it works, I'll explain how it works, how most of it works nowadays with computers and everything. But so I went online. I was literally DJing. I was in the middle of DJing, and I pulled up my web browser behind my software, and I just searched the name, and I found the MP3 of that song, the remix.
Right.
And I downloaded it. Obviously, I made sure the quality was good enough to be able to play in a nightclub. And I just dropped that song at the very end of the night. I got on the mic and told everyone, all right, last call for alcohol, blah, blah, blah. And I had a bunch of my friends there that night. I had a whole bunch of my friends who wanted to come out and show support because I had been gone for so long. And so I got on the mic, and I don't usually like get personal on a microphone when I'm trying to DJ in front of hundreds of people that I don't know. But I just told everybody, I was like, this is the first time that I've DJ'd in 6 months. My dad passed away, and I want to dedicate this last song to him. And a bunch of people, like, I heard this roar from the audience. And I was like, wow, like, people actually kind of care about this, And I got emotional, and I played the song, and I played the Riders on the Storm remix from that video game. And the place went batshit.
Damn.
They went batshit for it. And I never thought I'd ever see a day where a bunch of 20-something-year-olds were going batshit to a Doors song.
Yeah.
But they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. And then the GM of the club comes over to me and goes, "What are you playing right now?" It's like, "This is a remix of the Doors." And he's like, "This is cracking, man."
Who's the Doors? Like, yeah.
Right? It was great.
Yeah.
But so that was my little thing for my dad. That was the only time I've ever played the Doors in a nightclub.
That's awesome.
But it went over fantastically. And
that's a great response to that such a simple question. Awesome, man.
Yeah, it was a fun one, man. That was a really good one. And it helped too a lot.
Doors is absolutely my number one favorite.
I
love the movie. I love everything about them.
Yeah.
I can talk a lot about the history about the band. Like I know a lot about them. I love the Doors. I actually have something over here that you might like. I'm not sure if you use these a lot at your thing. Road records.
Used to use records. Now it's all digital. But
see, I got like some old school ones. I got some Frank
Sinatra, huh?
Yeah, I got some old school.
Wow.
Actually got some Doors here.
There we go.
That just came out. We can actually play it on a record if you wanted to right now.
That is fantastic.
Which I would love to play some Riders on the Storm, but you can hold on to that while I'm showing you this. I got Nat King Cole.
Wow.
Nat King Cole.
A trip down memory lane right here.
Yeah. I got I don't know, something from Venezuela.
Oh, I know what album that is.
I got Pink Floyd.
That was my dad's second favorite right there.
I love that.
My dad loved Pink Floyd.
Lily Tomlin is a comedy from Lily Tomlin. She's on a couple of shows now. A lot of women like. It's like a women's comedy. Frank Sinatra and Count Basie, the old school one.
Man,
I like old school stuff. Sinatra, just
more Sinatra. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Sinatra.
And some more Sinatra.
What is the name of the song from him that I love? It was my uncle's favorite. I think it was My Way.
Oh, dude, that's a classic.
I like that song. I'm not like. I mean, I appreciate Sinatra.
I also have some Bob Marley back there. That's actually loaded already on there.
That's my pops right there, man.
Oh yeah.
Bob Marley, The Doors, and Pink Floyd.
There you go, dude.
That was my dad. He would get all stoned and just sit there and listen to Bob Marley for hours.
It's unfortunate that this album does not have Riders on the Storm.
The greatest song.
Yeah, I think the best song that I like on it is probably Light My Fire, but yep.
This is The End. I really like that song too.
Oh, this is The End. Yeah.
Or The End, whichever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic song, man. That's awesome that your dad loved the Doors. Did he?
Oh, he did.
Where was he from? He grew up in Oakland all his life?
My dad grew up in San Lorenzo in Castro Valley.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he went to San Lorenzo High School.
Okay.
So he's a local kid. He was born in New York. He was born in Staten Island. And then he...
Wow.
So my grandmother, Yaya, she came from Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And she came over, landed in Staten Island. And like a couple of days or something after she landed, she gave birth to my dad. So my dad was a U.S. citizen.
Here in the soil.
Yeah. Whereas my uncle Tom, he was not a U.S. citizen because he was born in Greece.
Right.
So my Yaya had my dad here, and then probably when he was like 1 or 2, she moved to California.
Right.
And he grew up and lived here his whole life. The only times he really left were vacation or when he went to boot camp.
What boot camp? Because like some boot camp school.
So my dad was in Vietnam.
Oh, he went to the military.
He went to the military. He was drafted. He actually got his draft letter on his 18th birthday.
Oh.
He didn't even get to finish high school.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he got his draft letter. Basically, on his birthday, he came home.
When's his birthday?
October 1st.
Whew.
Yeah, he got his draft letter on his 18th birthday. He got home, checked the mail, and there was a letter in the mail. Basically, I still have it. I have it somewhere locked away. And it just basically says, like, congratulations on turning 18. You have been drafted into the United States military.
Mm.
There will be a bus at your house in 2 weeks to pick you up to take you to boot camp.
Wow.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because back then, when they drafted you to go to Nam, there was no getting out of it unless you went to jail.
Yeah, that was a big thing. You go to jail.
Yeah.
For like 5 years.
And because he had an older brother, he had no say. They took him. They came and picked him up, and they hauled him down to... I can't remember where he was stationed at for boot camp.
Probably Tennessee somewhere. Or
Probably somewhere down in the South, because I remember before he actually shipped out to Nam, he was deployed in Texas.
Okay.
It was the only time in my dad's life, he ever went to Texas.
Right.
And he swore up and down he would never go back.
Right.
Because of the prejudice out there.
Right.
And that was the first time, my dad grew up in California. Very progressive out here. We treat people of color a lot better out here. Especially back then.
We're totally like more respectful.
Yeah,
you can immediately feel it. Even in some places in California, you can feel it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You go to the middle of nowhere in California, like about 3 hours into a drive down to LA. It's hit country down there.
Oh yeah, I've been down there a couple times.
So my dad went to Texas, and I'll never forget the first time he told me that story of when he went to Texas. That was the first time he had ever seen segregation. And he said he was walking through a park one day and he saw a water fountain that said whites only.
Wow.
And right next to it, there was a sign that said blacks only. And it was just a fountain hose.
Damn.
White people had this beautiful water fountain, and next to it for the black people was a freaking hose. An old rusted garden hose.
Well, yeah, the war was around the late 60s, so, segregation really ended around... All that stuff really ended around the 60s and didn't really end in the South for a long time.
Yeah, and you still see it, you know. There was that, and then my dad went into a bar. He was not 21 yet, but things were different back in the 60s.
Oh yeah.
My dad had gone into a bar in Texas. And because my dad is Greek, the Mediterranean, your skin, especially in the sun, you become very olive tone.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you,
dark.
Dude. I can't tell you how many times growing up people thought that I was Hispanic. Because
you do have that Hispanic look.
Yeah, in the middle of the summertime. Plus this right here is very Hispanic looking.
Yeah.
So I kind of understood where my dad was coming from. Everybody thought he was Hispanic. So he goes into this bar. He's down in Texas. He walks into this bar. He just wanted to get a beer. And the bartender looks at him, and he goes, "What are you doing in here?" My dad looks at me and says, "What do you mean what am I doing here? I just want to get a beer." And he goes, "You Mexican?" My dad was like, "No, I'm a Greek." And the guy looks at me and goes, "What the hell is a Greek? I ain't never heard of no Greek."
Man.
And my dad's like, "Greek, it's a nationality. It's a country." And he's like, "I don't know what a Greek is. You're a Mexican. Get the hell out of my bar. I don't serve Mexicans in my bar."
Wow.
And so my dad got up and left. Because he was like, he's in the military. He's not trying to cause no problems. So he left. And my dad told me, he said, "I will never go back to Texas." And to the day he died, my father never went back to Texas.
Dang.
He refused to step foot in that state because of the prejudice that he saw. Now, granted, things have changed.
That's kind of like you watching the NFL.
Great comparison.
Like you don't even want to touch it.
I won't touch the NFL. I won't touch football in general.
So we have a lot of things to cover from this.
Yeah, sorry about the random stories.
No. You keep coming with the random stories. So first of all, the question was, who are your musical influences? And my question to you immediately was, who's the best between Tupac and Biggie?
That's right.
But you said Tupac was like your Tupac was like your most number one.
Yeah. So Tupac to me is the best, and I actually don't. So to get back on that conversation, Tupac.
Who's your number 3 best musical influences that you like?
My 3 musical influences. Tupac would be one.
Number 1?
He would be number 1.
Or just one of them?
He's number 1.
All right, I'm writing it down.
Absolutely number 1.
These are going in the notes.
Number 2 is Dr. Dre.
Oh shit, Dr. Dre.
Growing up, I always wanted to be a producer. I always liked DJing. And actually DJing was actually my first real introduction to music. I discovered DJing when I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. That's another story. But I wanted to be a producer. I wanted to make the beats. And I loved Dre. Everything about Dre's production I was in love with. The West Coast sound, the 808 drums, all that. I loved it. So
what's your favorite Dr. Dre song?
My all-time favorite Dr. Dre song?
So Tupac's your number 1 influence. Who's your number 1 number one favorite Tupac song. You can only choose one.
For Tupac,
You only get 5 seconds, bro. One.
Temptations.
Oh, bro, that's me and my wife's song, bro.
That is my song from Pac.
Dude,
Me Against the World is Tupac's best album.
Dude, I wish I could play that song right now, bro.
Right.
Temptation. I know that song by heart.
Everybody that you know probably says Tupac's best album is All Eyes on Me. I disagree. It is Me Against the World, and Temptations is the best song on that album, in my opinion.
Yeah, baby, can you know me?
I love it. My favorite line of that song. My favorite line of that song. And every time I play that song,
in the moonlight.
I look at my wife every single time just as a joke, but she gets so mad at me when he says, "Will I cheat or will I be committed?"
Oh,
Heaven knows I'm getting weak and I want to hit it.
Heaven knows I'm weak and I want to hit it.
I stare at my wife every time. I love it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line in that song.
Dude, Temptations. Dude, my wife even knows that song.
That's the best Tupac song ever.
I love that song, dude. And I love how it's long. Because it reminds me of like high school, you know? Because for me, I listened to that song a really long time ago. And it's like, I just remember just listening to that song, taking long walks in San Ramon at night. And he talks living in the moonlight. Oh man, that's a fucking song, dude.
Yeah, if you want to talk about like, so I was never a big walker, but when I got my license, I would like to just drive around.
Yeah.
So I would always throw on Pac, right? But my favorite song is Temptations, but the song that I would listen to on repeat whenever I would just be driving around was Staring at the World Through My Rear View.
Oh, Staring at the World in my rear view.
That song, when you're on like a dark road at like 2 a.m, there's no one around, and you're just driving along chilling. That's the song right there.
You know what was a good album that he made, but I think it was after his death. It was the album for his movie, Resurrection.
I love that album.
That fucking album.
It's just a compilation album, but it's so good. It's got a couple of tracks produced by Eminem on there.
Panther songs, like
All If You Hear Me.
Yeah. All If You Hear Me.
Love it.
He talks about he's from Oakland and shit.
Yep.
Like, that's awesome.
And then his very first track that he ever recorded was with Digital Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Same song.
Right.
Just the lines. His verse is like half. It's like half a verse. It's only like 8 bars. But what he says in those 8 bars, man, I clown around when I hang around with the underground. Girls used to frown, say I'm down when I come around. I love it, dude. Oh my God, Pac was amazing.
I wish I.
People change. What is it? People change, get some change. Want to live your life high. Same song, can't go wrong if I play the nice guy.
And it just builds up, and it's like,
dude, it's so good.
That song is a good song.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Digital Underground. I'm so thankful that Shock G found him. Dude, that's how Pac got big, man. Yeah, Shock G, R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Digital
Where
Underground...
was he born?
Shock G, if I remember correctly, Shock G was born in Miami.
Oh, he's not even from the Bay Area.
No, he's originally from, like, Miami, or he's somewhere on the East Coast or down south over there. But he grew up and blew up in the Bay Area.
Wow.
But he's originally from that side. And Pac, Pac is originally from the East Coast. Pac was born in Baltimore.
Yeah, he was born out there.
And so a lot of people confuse that because a lot of people think, oh, Tupac repped L.A.
No, he was born there, migrated his roots down here because that's where his musical roots spawned.
He was born in Baltimore. He went to the Baltimore School of the Arts.
In New York, yeah.
Yeah, his mom, Afeni, she was actually part of the Black Panthers.
Yeah. In Oakland.
So Pac,
right? In Oakland or New York?
I want to say she was in Oakland when she was doing the Panthers.
Yeah.
But Pac was born in Baltimore. He went to the Baltimore School of Music or Baltimore School of the Arts, whatever it's called.
Right.
And then he moved to Oakland. And that's really what he always claimed was Oakland. Now, people will say, oh, no, he claimed L.A. He didn't claim L.A. When Pac went down to L.A.
It's for the music.
It was when he was on death row.
For the label. For death row.
It was when he was on death row. And that's where he started claiming L.A. But Pac never really fully claimed L.A. Pac was a Bay Area guy. I mean, he was a California
That's obviously where most of his roots were. Most of the people would act. That's the thing. You would claim where you're at, where people are going to back you, where people are really going to back you.
And
you're not going to claim from New York if you walk down the street. No one's going to help you if you're getting your ass kicked.
Right.
So if he's he's really from Oakland. He really kind of
down
here.
This is where
that's where he played shows.
Yeah,
here.
This is where he got to start.
Yeah,
Shock G. I mean, he was a backup dancer.
Yeah.
For Digital Underground.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for
Did the
Digital
Running Man
Underground, there would be no Tupac if it wasn't for Shock G.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of people forget that, and they're just like, oh, you know, LA. Like, nah. There's a reason.
At the time already like established.
Yeah, 40 established himself in the late 80s.
Even before Pac.
Yeah, Pac came on the scene around 91, 92.
Dang. So when he did that song, when Pac blew up, and he did that song with E40 at that Vallejo High School,
40 was already a name.
40 was already a name.
Yeah.
40 was already a name.
You gotta remember, Too Short.
I did a podcast, by the way, on like talking about like his slurricane for like 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
That shit was.
Man, I love 40 Water, man.
Yeah.
40's my guy. I've met 40 a couple of times. I've been privileged to meet a lot of Bay Area legends.
That's awesome. No shit.
Yeah, I've hung out with 40.
He's hella tall, right?
He's tall. It's funny, he's not, you know, he's always been a bigger guy.
Right.
When the times that I've met him, like, people think, oh, E40 is just this big old dude. Like,
no, he's not fat.
He's really not that big.
No, he's not big.
He's really not. There's a lot of muscle on that man.
No shit.
There's a lot of muscle on underneath that beard.
No, I've seen, I follow E40 on Instagram and shit, and he posts, like, some of his photos when he was young, hustling, like, he's on, like, little Mac 10s and shit, like, whatever, like, little things like that.
40 is the guy, man.
Yeah.
Him and Short, they both actually got their start in the 80s.
Short a little bit before 40, right?
I believe Short was before 40. I want to say Too Short's a little bit older than him. Short, you know, 40 grew up in Vallejo.
Now, hold on. But before we get tripped out.
Yeah, we keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah, because you got the gift of gab. You got the gift of gab.
I do what I can.
I do what I can. You put the gift of gab underneath your beard, and then when you shave it, it says gift of gab underneath. Right. But you have to have a beard.
I'm thinking about putting no regrets.
No regrets?
No regrets from the movie.
No.
Instead of no regrets, put no regrets.
No.
Just cover it up with the beard.
You're really thinking about
that?
No. It's like
no, the tattoo that I want that I'll never be able to get because my wife would kill me.
Yeah, I was gonna compliment you on your tattoos.
Thank you. I do love my tattoos.
So you got the Raiders. You gotta show it to the camera.
I got the Raiders there, which we don't support anymore. We got the A's there.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I got a cross on this arm. I've got a tone
DJ,
arm.
yeah.
Just a tone arm from a turntable here. And then up on this arm, one of my biggest inspirations, this was the name of their album. It's a guy DJing, and it says Mind Over Matter. And that's the album title.
For Limp Bizkit?
Do you know Zion I?
No.
So Zion I is an Oakland hip-hop group.
No shit, huh?
And their first album was called Mind Over Matter.
Okay.
They're actually pretty.
Is that your third most influential artist? Because your first one is Tupac, Dr.
Dre.
Damn, they're all West Coast.
I'm a big West Coast guy.
Okay.
See, the third spot is where I have a problem. That's what's hard because I want to say Zion I, because I have told this. So Zion I.
What about Mac Dre? You were a big Thiz guy when we were back in school.
I like Mac Dre. I think he's overrated.
Well, at the time, everyone loved him, right?
I mean, everybody loved him, and
everyone would have.
His music is great.
Everyone would have sucked his dick.
I'll never.
That's cool. I couldn't believe how much people liked him, but he was dead at the time, right?
Yeah, he died in like 2003, 2004.
Yeah, but everyone was like, yeah. Well, but everyone went crazy for everyone went crazy for Keek the Sneak, right?
I love Keek
because he was like the main guy.
Keek is awesome, man.
Right.
I love Keek. Keek's super cool. He's a really nice guy. I feel bad for him. He's gonna be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Right? I read about that. I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah, he got into a shooting and he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot a couple times.
Yeah,
like a hell of times.
I mean, they didn't think he was gonna make it, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, so for me, in terms of influences, man, it's really hard because you have to kind of split it up into two lists for me. You have like my main influences, and then you have my Bay Area influences.
No. It's just three influences.
Yeah,
I told you,
so
bro. That's what makes it difficult.
So 3 is the hard one for me.
You're on the hot chair, bro, for a reason.
I'm trying my best. So I want to put Zion I there.
Zion I.
Because Zion I changed my life in a lot of ways.
The permanent marker is permanent.
But the struggle I'm having is, do I want to go Zion I 3 or do I want to go Eminem 3?
Ooh, Eminem. I was going to ask you. Did you know?
It's a hard one.
So when did you realize that he was gay? And then you were like, yeah, man. And how to accept that and all that shit. Because I couldn't believe it. Like, I seriously couldn't believe it.
To Seth Rogen over here?
The day it happened, Like, I couldn't believe it. Because to me, Eminem was the most hardest dude in the world. What time is it? I don't know.
It is. It's 7:30.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got as much time as you need. I'm good. I love Eminem, man. I can recite to you pretty much every lyric of every song that man has ever put on a piece.
Do you
of
like
paper.
his new music?
I like his new stuff, man. I like all his stuff. The only album from him that I don't like is Encore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only album I didn't really like. Encore was his fourth album. That's the one that has Just Lose It on it.
Okay.
You remember that song? Just Lose It. Rah, 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 rah.
Nope.
No? So that's the one album from him I'm not a huge fan of. There's songs on it that I like. But I like his new stuff because it shows an evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what music's about. It's about evolution.
Yeah.
No one's going to be the same. The people that stay the same from album to album, they flame out. 50 Cent's a great example of that. When Get Rich or Die Trying came out, that was the hottest selling album of all time.
Dude, yeah.
He broke every record with that album.
He did.
And it was phenomenal. And I loved it. I ate it up. I was the biggest 50 Cent fan in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
But then his second album came out.
Same
The Massacre. Good album.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds exactly the same as Get Rich or Die Trying with different beats. Talking about the same things. Then his third album comes out. Same content with different beats. Fourth album. Same content, different beats. And now, nobody can care less about 50 Cent.
So fuck 50 Cent, right?
I wouldn't say fuck 50 Cent. I still love 50.
Okay.
But I like his old shit. His new shit, the problem with his new shit is it's exactly the same as the old shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's been no evolution in his music. Eminem has changed.
Man,
Styles
one
changed.
song that I love is one of the best songs, dude. He's like the best workout song of all fucking time.
What, In the Club?
No, I never liked the mainstream stuff.
See, my favorite song from him was Patiently Waiting with Eminem on it.
Patiently Waiting. No.
Eminem absolutely destroys that verse, man. Kills it.
Kills it.
It is one of the greatest verses I've ever heard.
Wait, so does Zion I go for your third most influential, or just Eminem?
I would...
Like, remember, I mean, like, artist influences, like, that made you who you are as a DJ, right? Like, like someone you would probably still listen to when you get old, and be like 40, be like, you know, maybe even older from now, like 60, be like, you better lose yourself when you lose it.
Oh, bro, I will still be bumping Eminem when I'm 60. You can bet your ass on that.
Okay, so it's Eminem.
I would have to put Eminem as number 3. But see, influences in music compared to influences in DJing are two completely different things.
No, artists, music, everything.
Just artists in general.
No, we're not. Just in general, bro. Just in general. We're not gonna make it DJ. Where you're gonna put on at the club.
But you got to remember something. Okay, DJs, it's a different art form.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to talk about influences in DJing, I'm gonna give you a completely different list.
No, this is who you would probably have listened to before you even picked up a DJ mixer. You know.
So those are the artists that I love.
So Tupac, Dr. Dre, Eminem.
If you want to talk about DJing, okay, let's talk about
no,
DJing because that's what I am.
That's different. Hold on.
I'm a DJ, so let's talk about DJing. The biggest influences that I have as a DJ.
What's your favorite Dr. Dre song though?
Explosive.
What about Eminem?
My all-time favorite Eminem song would be "Sing for the Moment."
Sing for the Moment. Damn, those are songs I don't even know.
Sing for the Moment. And a close second for Eminem would be Business.
Business. So in your DJing influences, who would be your top 3?
Number 1, DJ Green Lantern.
DJ Green Lantern.
That would be my number 1. I love Green Lantern. He was my guy. When I was in high school.
What about next guy? Or next gal? Who knows?
Who would I put number 2? There's so many DJs that I just love. I would say number 2. I would go with a local guy. There was a time where we were actually good friends. DJ Leslie Perez.
Leslie
he was one of the main DJs on Wild 94.9, 997, pretty much my entire life. And I was very fortunate that I actually got to open for him on a regular basis.
Wow.
He was the regular Tuesday night DJ at Outpost.
No shit.
And I opened for him for about 2.5 years. I opened for him.
Wow, so I used to listen to this guy.
Yep. DJ LP was at Outpost every Tuesday.
Oh, that was his name.
DJ LP, Leslie Perez.
Oh, DJ LP.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately, we had a bit of a falling out. We haven't talked in a very long time. That's probably not a story I can tell on a podcast.
Right.
But yeah, he was one of my biggest influences. I used to turn on the radio when I would get off of school. We would get out of school at like 2:45, and he always did the 5 o'clock traffic jam. Mm-hmm. So I'd rush home, have some lunch, do as much homework as I could before 5 o'clock, because at 5 o'clock on the dot, my radio was coming on, and I was gonna listen to DJ LP at 5 o'clock on Wild 94.9. And I did it every day, Monday through Friday. Every day of all my teen years. From like 10.
It's like me listening to Chewy Gomez, man.
Oh,
CMC.
I love Chewy Gomez.
Did you used to listen to that CMC? When he used to be on the TV?
I know Chewy, man. Chewy's awesome.
Damn, that's awesome.
I love Chewy. Chewy has been very nice to me. We don't know each other well. Mm-hmm. We're not like close friends or anything. But we've met multiple times. He's always been an absolute sweetheart. Right. Chewy is really cool. He's a good guy. I know Jay Espinoza pretty well. I love Jay. Jay is very nice. He's always very humble, been very nice to me. Espinoza was on Wild 94.9 for a long time. I think he's on 997 now. But he was awesome. And what I always liked about Espinoza, we're talking about Bay Area DJs here. These are just Bay Area.
Who was your
DJs.
third most favorite DJ though?
I gotta go old school with it, man. I loved Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash. Did you see that Netflix thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love Grandmaster Flash. When he released the message, whew.
Oh, dude, that's the song.
And then when Ice Cube sampled it, oh my God, the message, that is one of my the greatest beats of all time in the history of hip hop, is that beat from the message.
Wait, hold on. So before we get out of the clubbing thing, okay? Your career has it changed because of COVID?
Yeah.
Hold on. We're gonna take a break. Because I need to take a piss. We're back to the Just Call It podcast here with DJ Eden Roc, James Zenon. So, we talked about your most favorite songs, which is your favorite artist, which is Tupac, Dr. Dre, and Eminem.
With Zion I being a close fourth.
With Zion I being a close fourth. And then your favorite DJs is DJ Green Lantern. Number 2 is DJ LP, DJ Leslie Perez. Mm-hmm. And then number 3 is Grandmaster Flash, obviously.
Grandmaster Flash.
We talked about where you're born from. You were born in Walnut Creek, born in the Bear, raised in Terrebonne, grew up in Hayward also. And we never talked about who are your life inspirations, which I feel like is your father, which you've mentioned a lot.
Yeah, my father, he was definitely an inspiration, seeing, his struggles. My mom, too.
My mom, who else?
Yeah, right. Who doesn't say that? Mm-hmm. But my mom was a big inspiration growing up. In terms of like my heroes growing up, like my big inspirations, just in life, are rooted in things that I love. Baseball for one, like Ricky Henderson. It's my all-time favorite baseball player. Growing up, he was my hero. I wanted to be like Ricky, stealing bases. So I loved him.
Was he black or?
Ricky? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Black guy. Like I said, he grew up in Oakland. Born and raised Oakland, California. He went to Oakland.
Man, what was that?
I don't know. It sounds like fireworks. Yeah, those are fireworks.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he went to Oakland Tech, I think. Mm-hmm. He's a Bay Area kid. Love him. He was my number one. Growing up, I loved Tim Brown, wide receiver for the Raiders. He was always my favorite football player. And then Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, bro.
Hogan, man.
That guy's been through a lot.
I've always.
That guy, I know. I've seen his.
Yeah,
his bullshit. Right.
He's had a little bit of a decline in his popularity over the last few years because.
Well, obviously, because so much law bullshit against him and all of things.
Yeah, I mean he's made some mistakes, and I know that a lot of people are not.
We're trying to get money back on your name, right?
Well, the lawsuits were different. You know, like I don't blame him for suing that Gawker company or whatever, that website that he sued, because they released tapes of him without his permission. Like he was being now granted what he said on those tapes was not right. And I don't support anything he said on those tapes. I want to make that very clear.
What did he say?
He said some pretty racist stuff on those tapes.
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay, so the whole story with that was he was having an affair with this woman who was married to one of his friends.
I was black.
No, his friend was white.
Okay.
The racist stuff came in because his daughter at the time, I guess, was dating a black guy.
Brooke.
Yes. Apparently she was dating a black guy.
Which is totally cool.
Which is totally fine.
But Hulk Hogan was like, hey, bro.
He said some
traditional
stuff.
Dude.
Yeah, he said some stuff that he shouldn't have said. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to repeat what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But he was recorded on those tapes by this guy who he thought was his friend. Now, granted, Hogan was sleeping with his wife, so they're probably both in the wrong there. But either way, this guy recorded him without his knowledge. And then because he was sleeping with his wife, he released those tapes. He gave them to the website. And, I mean, Hogan won the lawsuit. He bankrupted that website with that lawsuit. So, apparently, what they did was wrong. Now, I don't support what he said on those tapes. My thing is, the man has come out multiple times and apologized for what he said.
Honestly, I mean, anybody's entitled for their opinion, and what you're engaged in a conversation with someone that you thought you can trust. That's why you can just say certain things and just get away with it. People do that all the time, whether they don't speak about it.
Right.
So he's able to just, hey, I'm gonna tell my wife certain thing, or my mom, or my dad, or my brother, or my sister, or certain something, my cousin. And if they're recording me and they use that against me, or my best friend, or for I'm using this with you or something like that with the podcast.
Yeah.
Say you say something and you tell me, hey, don't put that on there, and I'm like, I
don't care. Put it on there anyway.
Yeah, I don't care what you're doing. Like,
yeah. I mean, you know, the whole thing with Hulk Hogan, like, it's a bigger issue. Like, you see anybody, especially now, like in 2020, 2021, you say anything that somebody finds slightly offensive, you're canceled.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's so frustrating, and it's so hard to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when I think of Hulk Hogan, still to this day, I'm a 33-year-old man, and to this day, Hulk Hogan is still one of my heroes. And it has nothing to do with the shit he said. What he said was foul. It was disgusting, and you should have never said it. Whether you're in a private setting or not, you shouldn't have said what you said.
Hulk Hogan is obviously just trying to just protect his daughter, and he shouldn't have said what he said, because obviously you're Hulk Hogan, and this guy should only be saying shit in his house, because no one's gonna be recording him in his house.
Right, and that's the problem is he wasn't in his house. He was in his friend's house.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Hulk Hogan's gonna have to, where anytime he steps off his property, or any property that he owns.
Like, if you're somebody famous, like, you have to know, when you're not in the privacy of your own home, there's probably somebody watching or listening.
Or a video.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you do something crazy with the video.
Right. I mean, like, you're a famous person. What makes you think that you're safe anywhere?
Doesn't that suck that you can't even, like, go out in public? Say you want to go to, like, a club or something.
Yeah.
You can't even go, like, talk to a girl or something like that.
Can't do it.
Talk to a guy, and it's like, hey, man, you see that girl? She's married. She's talking to that guy. Right. Could have been like...
It could have been a completely innocent conversation.
Yeah, like, hey, can you pass me a fucking glass of ice, waiter?
Yeah.
Or something like that, like...
But somebody will find a way to spin it.
Exactly.
You know, that's one of my problems with so much of today's culture. And the whole cancel culture thing. I mean, it's cancerous, man. It really is. Like, you're canceling people for stupid shit. You know, like, let's talk Star Wars. You want to talk about Star Wars for a minute?
Yeah, let's go.
You watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Gina Carano. Have you heard about that situation?
Oh, yeah. No, I know who Gina Carano is. I know who she was before Mandalorian and all that shit, but what happened?
Okay,
I heard there's something heat on her.
So, Gina Carano...
got canceled.
She got canceled. Well, they tried to cancel her. They're not doing a great job of it, if you ask me. But, okay. So Gina Carano is a conservative person. I don't have no problem with conservative.
She likes Trump and shit.
She voted for Trump. Well, we think she voted for Trump. She never said she voted for Trump. Okay. She's openly admitted multiple times. She's like, I'm not a very political person. She just holds more conservative values.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not one of those people that looks at anybody who's conservative and says, oh, he's conservative, she's conservative, they must be a racist. That's not me. I'm not that type of person. I got family, I got friends who are very progressive. I got family and friends who are very conservative. I don't judge people by that shit. I judge people by who they are as a person.
And yeah, so, but you're Gina Carano.
So Gina Carano. So Gina Carano, granted, what she said was not necessarily the best thing to say, but I understood.
What'd she say?
I
don't even know what she said.
So what she was trying to say is she put
Where
out.
was she at? What happened? What was the situation?
She put out an Instagram post.
Okay.
And she compared being a conservative now in these times to being a Jew during the Holocaust, which was not the best comparison.
Just like, I don't even need to know whatever she said or whatever medium she used to fucking say it. It's just like insane, like, what?
Yeah, it was not the best comparison. It was not a smart idea to say. But at the same time, I do understand what she was trying to say.
Okay.
I didn't like the way she said it.
Okay. And what did you feel about it?
I just looked at it like this. Bad choice of words, bad comparison, but the point she's trying to make makes sense, okay? Because anybody in today's political climate, anybody today, if you have slightly conservative-leaning views, you're ostracized.
Okay.
And you're called a racist, and a sexist, and a homophobe.
Right.
Just because you have somewhat conservative views. When most of these people
what are conservative fucking views?
You know, people on the right.
What people on the right?
You're the right, and I'm not a very political person.
What's a right view? Like what? You see something like, why should I pay you minimum wage when this job is something that should be below minimum wage? Is that a conservative view?
No, Okay, so let's see. A conservative, a real conservative view.
On this podcast, I intentionally sat James, Xenon, DJ Eden Roc on the American side of the podcast.
I am not a conservative. I want to make that perfectly clear. I am not a conservative. I am not right wing. All I'm saying, I'm actually very centrist.
I'm on the Nicaraguan. This is liberation. Power to the people.
I'm actually very, very centrist. I'm very in the middle. I don't lean left.
I'm not trying to show my soul and my foot to you. I know that's disrespect. The Greek language.
I'm very centrist. Okay, so I don't.
That's why you sit like this. Like, I do not sit with my head.
I'm a Greek, my friend. I'm a Greek. You know, I like to sit.
I've been a Greek, man.
We put Windex on everything. That's how we fix it all.
Dude, okay, look, bro. I one time met a man. I'm in the cubicle industry. Okay, I met a man. I forget his name, but he was Greek, right? He looked like Jerry Garcia, right?
Sounds like a Greek to me.
He looked exactly like you in the future. He had long hair, extremely long hair.
Was it gray?
Extremely gray.
Yeah.
He had glasses that tinted in the sun, okay? And he had a little bit of beard, right? He trimmed it, right, really well. And then he also drove a white Ford Explorer, the exact same car as me. He was like, "Oh, it's a good car. That's a good car. How much you pay for that car?" And he was like, started getting on this thing, this conversation. It's a good car. I take this car everywhere. I take this car with me everywhere I go. I put the parts of the furniture in here, in this part from the storage, because we would go from one place of the office complex because they didn't have a good storage, and we'd go like about 15-minute drive away to the storage complex where you had like a fucking huge amount of like panels and all this cubicle stuff for cubicles, making cubicles, right? And rearranging, reconfigures, that's what they call them, right? So we would always go there and help him make reconfigures. And he talked about the car, Greek guy, and he gave me this huge frame, which is actually right behind you. It's a white frame right there. You can't see it. It's the one that's kind of painted. It's the white one actually right behind you.
I can see like a corner of it.
Yeah. So he gave me that. It's about like, I don't know, it's like 6 feet by 4 feet, whatever. And he's like, you can take it. I don't give a shit. You can take it. It's supposed to be garbage. It's garbage. I'm sorry, I'm giving you a really good Greek accent. How's my Greek accent?
You're pretty good at it, to be honest.
Greek English accent.
It's not bad.
How do you say Greek? A Greek word. Just give me. Don't say euro. Say some shit.
No, I'm not gonna say euro.
Give me like 2-3 words.
Let's see. Do you want bad words or good words?
Just like give me give me a sandwich or some shit like that.
So I don't speak Greek
give me a drink
fluently.
of water.
I don't speak Greek fluently, so I can't be like, oh, give me a glass of water. I can. Let's see, which ones do I know? Se acabó.
Se acabó.
Se acabó.
Se acabó.
That means I love you.
That's, you know what it almost sounds like? Se acabó also means like he got away in Spanish. You know that, right?
Complete polar opposites.
Polar opposites.
Polar opposites.
Se acabó. He got away. Escape. Like escape. Se escapó. That's good. That's how you say it like that.
I don't know Spanish at all.
But there you go.
I know like 2 things in Spanish, and then
one day you're gonna be at a DJ booth. DJ like, someone's gonna be like, boom, 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 and then he's like, the police are gonna come, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck happened to the guy with the gun? And you can see,
Se acabó.
Se acabó.
He went that way.
He se acabó. If you ever DJ at a Mexican place, whatever.
Dude, Mexican places are so fun.
Really?
I love them. I love playing Spanish music in Mexican.
That's
music.
like a new thing, man.
It's so fun.
I was thinking
man.
about dyeing my hair blonde like J Balvin.
Oh no, please don't.
Dude, why not?
Please don't.
My wife was actually.
You might be able to pull it off.
Dude, my wife was actually down.
Yeah,
my wife was actually down. She was like, you know what? You might be able to pull it off.
You got the skin tone. You might be able to pull it off.
See, that's what I'm saying. Blonde
might be
hair.
able to.
Not like completely blonde, but just the top.
Dude, I dyed my hair. I mean, I bleached my hair blonde once in high school. I'll never do it again.
I don't remember you ever bleaching your hair.
This is before you knew me. I was a sophomore, so you weren't in high school yet.
No.
I was dating this girl at the time.
Wait, I would have been a freshman.
No, maybe you were then.
Yeah.
I know we didn't know each other yet, though.
Yeah.
But I was dating this girl, and she one day randomly, because I've always had brown hair. And she
obviously you have
gray
brown hair.
now.
No,
Gray
you
now,
have gray hair. No,
yeah,
no,
it's getting gray now.
I couldn't figure that out. I was like looking at your hair. I was like, wait, how's the beard completely brown?
So this is actually, if you see it in the sun, the beard is actually more red.
Yeah.
That's the Irish coming out. My mom's Irish.
You know I have a little reds right here. A lot of reds actually, right?
Do you?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I've never seen you with really facial hair.
No, I shaved it all the time.
See, I mean, I've always had facial hair. Since the day I could grow facial hair,
dude,
I've had
you
facial
always had facial hair.
Yeah.
You always had you're Irish?
I have a little bit of Irish. So
because of the red hairs.
Yeah. So the Irish comes out in the beard. Like, especially in the sun.
It looks more brown to me than red.
Well, that's because it's darker now. But like in the middle of the daytime when it's really sunny out, if you look at it, it'll be red.
It makes you perfect Irishman for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. So my father's a full-blooded Greek, and then my mom is just a mutt. She is Heinz variety.
Italian.
She's got
German.
Irish, German, English, French, Cherokee, Portuguese.
How do you get that mixture? You get landed in Louisiana somewhere?
So many, man. So many.
There's
Hawaiian in my blood.
So you ever done the 23andMe or like fucking Ancestry.com?
I haven't done it yet. I want to do it so bad.
Dude, why don't you do that shit?
I just haven't done it, and it's expensive, so I haven't done it yet.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, man. It was like, last time I looked, it was like $500.
Dude, no. You gotta look back at that stuff. What are you talking about?
It was a long time ago, but I actually own stock in them.
You own stock in Ancestry.com?
In 23andMe.
That's probably good stuff.
So they're merging with another
You know anything about
corporation.
NFTs?
No. I'm just getting into the stock game, man. I got a couple of stocks.
Dude, get into the NFTs because you have probably a lot of soundtracks and a lot of stuff that you probably have sitting around that could be worth maybe $5 to somebody, and when eventually you put royalties on it, percentage. So NFTs work like basically if I have like maybe a video of me doing Counter-Strike or something like that. You remember that game, Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
So I have a game of Counter-Strike, maybe Halo 1 or something.
Love Halo.
Oh, dude, Halo 1. I went to Dave & Buster's in San Diego not too long ago. They had Halo 1 there. It was
really?
amazing. Yeah.
Oh, love Halo 1.
They're starting to have virtual games at Dave & Buster's.
It's so cool. I've never been to a Dave & Buster's.
Dude, you gotta go. It's
they got
amazing.
one in like San Jose, I think.
Yeah, they do in Milpitas.
Yeah.
You gotta go to a big one. Because some of them are like mini. You gotta go to like an extra big one. There's one in San Diego was extra big.
Yeah, they used to have DJs at the one in San Jose.
Yeah, it's before
of buddies that
COVID.
used to
You had
DJ
to
there.
walk around with a mask everywhere in San Diego unless you're drinking a drink. So people just act around. They're like, "Oh, I'm drinking a drink," right? So, anyways, just saw the big plume of like fucking like, "Hello, we are on the sky." Like,
Yeah, the vape will hit you, man.
what is that? Looks like a camera and then also like a fucking like a vaporizer.
It's just this. So this is a mod, right here. That's what it's called.
Can you hold that up to the camera and
Yeah.
show that what that is?
This one's old too. This one's really
So
old. now.
like, do you ever do like roasts? Do you like roasting people?
I've never done a like. Are you talking about like the comedy roast?
Yeah, like comedy roasts.
Dude, I've always wanted to get roasted. Like,
Okay, so
Get
can
a-
I roast you on what you were doing with this thing?
well, all my friends say that it's my
Dildo or something like that?
what is the word that they use? They call it my douche flute. They call it a douche flute.
Okay.
Every time I vape, my friends are, oh, there's James sucking on his douche
Do you think
flute
your friends
again."
are going to watch this podcast?
It's entirely possible.
Okay, they probably won't watch it to the end because this is the third part. Okay, so hold that up to the camera, please. Okay, so what's it called?
It's a vape.
Okay,
This is the mod. This part is the tank. If that helps.
so it's almost done or some shit, right?
No, so this is the juice in here. That's what I'm vaping. That's
Yeah.
that's what's
Clear
got the flavor
juice.
and the
Some
nicotine.
clear
in it.
juice, okay.
Yeah.
And then what's the machine called?
A vape.
But what's like
So-
the like
so
the
this-
Dijon
So this is a
3,
Snow
or what is
Wolf
it called?
200 watt.
Snow Wolf 200 watt.
Yes, this is a Snow Wolf 200 watt. Free promotion for Snow Wolf.
Okay. DJ Eden Roc is rocking a motherfucking Snow Wolf vaporizer with a shaft attached to it.
It's called the Smock Tank.
It's called Smock Tank.
This one is called the Cloud Beast.
Cloud Beast Smock Tank. DJ Eden Roc looks like he's about to join literally Jabba the Hutt fucking Star Wars gang right now. He's about to vaporize you with his smoke and totally poison you to death.
Well, I'm just waiting on Leia to come out here in the skimpy outfit.
Yeah. He's gonna poison her. He's literally going to go like this. Hit the joint, blow it on her, and then he's going to videotape her with this disguised camera, which for some
Is that
reason
what this is now?
it looks like a camera.
I don't know where we're going with this, but
It looks like a camera.
I'm just gonna go with it.
Looks like a camera.
It is definitely not a
It
camera.
looks like a camera. And he's going to take a couple pictures of her laying down, which were kind of the scene when she was there in Return of the Jedi and Jabba the Hutt. Now, I can't roast you because it's just, looking at this thing, it's just like, there's so many things you could say about it.
You can just call it the douche flute. That's what
I
all
don't
my
like
friends call it.
I don't like the douche flute.
I think it's hilarious.
No, I just think the douche flute is just like too obvious. Like, no shit, it's a machine that he's smoking the douche out of, like, right? Like, it's an obvious cap, right? But I feel like smoking that thing, and especially with your beard, it just looks like like you look like an Irish Han Solo, basically. Like, you look like you're Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo had a baby, and you have the gun, had the baby, and that's the baby of the gun he carries. Like, he's a...
Hey, I mean, if that's what works, then that's what works.
That's what
I'll
works.
take it.
Are you wearing ankle blue pants?
I have no idea what these jeans are, man.
Those look like ankle blue pants.
I have no idea.
Did you get those from 2005? You still rocking the DJ outfit?
It's a possibility.
Is that a dragon outfit?
This is a Post Malone T-shirt.
Oh, I keep forgetting.
Yeah. I got this at his tour. It's a Post Malone T-shirt.
Why are you disguising? Why are you hiding the Han Solo?
I just wanted to put it down.
No, dude, you gotta show vaporize the show.
I think I have vaporized on the show enough. Here, I'll put it there so it can be seen.
It's gonna I'm gonna put like a green screen. Every time you vaporize, like
just fill it up with
smoke.
Who needs a fog machine?
Who needs a fog machine when you have DJ Eden Roc? When you hire a DJ, you can hire a DJ, but also he'll fog machine the whole place.
I will.
If you allow him to smoke his vaporizer. Also, if you don't need a DJ, you just need a fog smoke machine, you might as well hire Han Solo, Jabba the Hutt sidekick, to fucking vaporize the side of your DJ.
Got you.
Boom! I just capped you. There you go. Finally got you there. All right, there you go. That was not that bad. So if your best friends are looking at this, finally to this point, maybe it's probably at the 70th minute.
Wait, we've been out here for a while.
All right. So we talked about the best game in the world that the Giants probably couldn't have won if the earthquake didn't happen.
Yeah, they never would have won that.
We talked about they possibly would have won.
Maybe one game.
One game, but not the whole World Series. They definitely would have lost 1989, which they lost. I was looking back in their history. They won in 1905, but then they lost again with Philadelphia in 1911, which is horrible.
The Philadelphia Athletics and the New York Giants played each other in the World Series. I want to say 3 or 4 times.
Do you have a jersey for the Philadelphia?
I do.
Dude,
I actually have it's an authentic that they wore on the field back when the A's were in Philly. So it's that full like wool jersey. It is hot, it is itchy, and I will never wear it.
So every time I interview someone, I show them like something amazing about what they do. So the last person I showed was like the guy who had a van. He had a van, and it was amazing that he lived there for 2 years, 29 years old, but he looked like he was 50. And then the other guy, Caesar, who was a guitarist, he did the little I videotaped him at the end. He did a little solo, right? So what trick would you do at the end that we would show at the podcast? Would you do like a little shout out to?
Well, I mean, if I had my turntables, like if I had something to DJ with, I could do something. But
you could DJ my little old Target owned.
Yeah, that would not go over well.
Dude, you can fuck up that needle. That's fine. I'll listen to Bob Marley.
That's you can't even scratch on those. You can't even scratch on them because it'll break the.
Can you do Harry Potter stuff with the smoke and make a DJ disc?
I mean, I could, but here's the thing. All right, I hate Harry Potter.
But I think you can do Harry Potter stuff with this thing.
I don't know any tricks.
You almost do tricks with the smoke.
I did not come prepared to do
you do anything. Circles?
Sometimes. I'm really bad at it.
Harry Potter magician.
I'm really bad at it.
With the machine, camera, / Leia. Dude, that's a camera, bro. It has a plus sign and a minus sign. Looks like magnifying. Like you're trying to magnify the shot. It's pretty obvious.
You got me. No, it's for the wattage. You can go up or down.
All right, so I want you to tell me, because you're such a big baseball fan, you know everything about life, about baseball. You probably taught, Ricky Henderson how to throw a baseball. And
if it wasn't for me, Ricky Henderson wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame right now.
I'm pretty sure, he saw that in a midlife.